Hey everybody, I would like to welcome you back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into I think it's a misunderstood topic, and that is crime reporting in the Black communities. Specifically, it's the no snitching culture. And I think that what the data says is underreported. So let's dive into what the numbers actually say. Okay, so let's start off with the facts. According to FBI's crime statistics, Black Americans make up 13% of the US population, but account for 26.6% of all arrests and over 51% of arrests for murder and also non negligent manslaughter. So, this overrepresentation is especially stark in violent crimes like homicide and robbery, where the per capita offending rate for African Americans is in between 5.5 to 7 times higher to that of whites. But I believe that these numbers alone don't tell the whole story. A major factor that affects crime stats is the stop snitching or the no snitching culture, which discourages community members from cooperating with police. This code of silence is not just a matter of attitude, but it is reinforced by real threats of violence and also people being ostracized by their social circle. There was a United States Department of Justice report that found in many cases witnesses cooperation levels they've dropped, and so this leads to lower clearance rates for violent crimes, especially homicides. So in some cities, homicide clearance rates have fallen below 50%, with police and community leaders directly attributing this decline to fear of being labeled a snitch. There was another survey which was done for youth, and so they said, hey, we are reluctant to report crimes because we fear retaliation of being ostracized by peers and or neighbors. The Black crime is super high, 5.5 to 7 times that of whites. But whites, they don't often have that no snitching culture. They don't. They'll tell on each other for the most part. And we do too with domestic issues, but it's on a level that's not comparable. So I wonder if we told as much as the white folks did. I bet you our crime levels will probably be twice of what we report them now. Like I'm saying, if we are 5.5 to 7 times as bad as whites, then I bet you that we'll be 11 to 14 times worse if the true crime rates were reported by citizens. So I just think it's much higher. Um, and it's not it's not just a general, I guess, a rule. I believe that one thing was because of the fear of retaliation, but also there's a distrust in police. High profile incidences of police violence and police misconduct has eroded community trust, which in turn it makes its residents less likely to call 911 or cooperate with investigations. So um, we can talk about fear, we can talk about social economic context. There's several reasons why, and I'm not trying to get into that right now. I just want to get to the numbers first to say, hey, let's identify the problem. I remember hearing that the first step in the 7-step problem solving process is to recognize that you have a problem. And most people, they don't know what the true data is. So you really can't grasp the enormity, if that's a word, of the problem when you don't even know what the facts are. Like, how can we fix a problem when we truly don't know how bad it is? So ultimately, at a minimum, the data is clear: 5.5 times or 5.5 to 7 times as bad as whites on like violent crime and murders. But I believe that a lot of it goes unreported, and it'll make it difficult for us to capture the full extent of the crime in some communities. But ultimately, we need to get back to that Torah. The commandments found in the first five books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, that's going to fix our problems. And I'm going to say this over and over. We got to get back to the root, and the root is the foundation, and that's God's law. That's what he told us to do. Why do something else? Why disobey what he told us to do directly? It doesn't make any sense. He says, if you keep my commandments, things will go well with you. If you don't, here's the punishment. And we are now suffering that punishment because we chose to disobey God. Hey, have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.